Yes, guys, EA dropped a very large pitch notes today, actually, for an update coming up probably, today or early this week sometime. And usually patches and pitch notes, we expect changes, basically. But this one, there's more actually new stuff being added rather than old things being changed, if that makes sense, which is kind of interesting and shows you a couple things about the state of FC and, you know, what their thought process is behind it, EA's thought process, and we'll talk about that. But if you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to mmoxp.com. There will be a link in the description down below. They are the cheapest and the safest option. You can use my code JFC at checkout for an 8% discount. It wasn't without some controversy. There's a new playstyle coming in that we'll look at that people are actually not super happy about because of a couple of reasons. We literally talked about Beckenbauer yesterday, and he's coming in the game now, confirmed. So there's a couple of other bits of leaks and news. There isn't a ton right now, and really what most of like the discourse is around FC right now is just evolutions. I mean, this one dropped today, and what is this Evo again? Festive wingback, 70,000 coins. It gives your right back technical plus, and makes him 91 overall, which by the way has been, at this rate, we'll be able to upgrade 91 overall cards in about fucking August. I'm stunned this one's paid. Honestly, if it, I mean, I don't know. I'm very shocked that they made this one paid, considering it is not that good. You'll probably find a few niche cases in there where it can be good, I'm certain, but in totality, this is where everyone's complaints have been, because this has just been not so great for Evos. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised how not great it's been, considering they all go like to 5-star skills or 5-star weak foot or even both, and it's hard to mess that up, it feels like, and that's why I kind of feel like I'm almost being too nitpicky here, or maybe we all are a little bit, but honestly, not really. It's pretty bad. And then we also got this in objectives today, which made things a lot worse. And that was, hey, we got a new FUT Birthday Cup, right? Where is it? Yep, right here, literally called the FUT Birthday Cup. You win 12 games, and you do get an Evo, and it's a +1 weak foot upgrade. That's awesome, up to a 5-star weak foot this time, too. Not even a 4-star. And a trickster-based playstyle, except this time, it's max 88 overall now. Why are we going back down again? Now, why is it at 89? We were complaining about 89 overalls. Now it's max 88 overall. The reason it is, I'm sure, is they want to sell their 5-star weak foot 5-star skills Evo in the SBC section, right? But what cards right now are less than 88? I mean, it's so rare. You have to find basically an Evo chain, right, that you want to get up that isn't 88 yet. But any card that you already have is going to be higher than 88 overall, like 99.9%. And 89 even is like still a stretch, but there are some, but 88 rated is absolutely crazy. And why are we going backwards again? What happened to that? It was max 88 like last season or 2 seasons ago. I think it was 2 seasons ago. It was max 89. They turned it, and now we're just back to max 88 randomly for no reason at all. I don't get it. I don't understand it. That just shows you that next season, or even in 2 seasons from now, we could still get a max 89 like weak foot Evo if they're going by seasons, like some people have said they might be doing. That's just, I mean, I don't get it. This festive wingback Evo, it goes up to 91 rated. At this rate, you won't be able to upgrade these guys at all for a long time, because we're not even to 90s yet, and EA are clearly very hesitant to get us to 90s, and then we got to get to 91s after that, which God knows how long that's going to take. So, okay, let's just get into the update here. The FC25 Legends Return update is coming soon. With the preview today, EA tweeted it out. New low-driven shot playstyle. Classic 11 is back in kickoff, which is pretty awesome for the offline players out there, and then return of Franz Beckenbauer. You look down here and they show some card designs, which we'll talk about as well when we get there. Then there's Bale's free kick run up there. But okay, so let's get into it. I will read through everything that's very important. This is kind of the summary here of all things that are going to be expected to see. The new low-driven shot playstyle, reduced precision lob pass accuracy. This one is that R1 and square pass we talked about, I think on our channel actually, some time ago, a week ago maybe, that people were abusing. Remember that stupid pass we talked about that people were abusing? The return of the fabled trio and Franz Beckenbauer, which we already knew about the Roma trio, but Beckenbauer's there. New super sub player items that receive full chemistry when coming into a match. This is very interesting because, one, weird they add this in now in the middle of a cycle randomly, because it's a pretty big deal actually. If you're looking at the stat boosts you can get, basically you can take a super sub now, make them +6 on pace and shooting if you want to, with a hunter, or +8, whatever it is. And that's a massive deal. Return of Classic 11 and kickoff, addition of Canadian women's national team, increased close clubs level okay, new Ultimate Team friendly, updated career mode UI, and updated visual flair with refreshed main menu vibes. So then, hey, once again, this update does not contain any major balance changes to the game. It has a few smaller tweaks based on your feedback alongside a few issues addressed that we've highlighted below, but it is true that there's not any major balance changes to the game in this update if you were looking for that. But okay, this was where there was like some hype around and also kind of some controversy a bit, because low-driven shots right now are kind of good, especially with precision shooting, and now they've made it into a shot type and a play style. So it says their intent here is to enable you to more consistently perform precise shots taken with a short press of the shooting input, which is, I mean, that needs to be a thing, often referred to as low-driven shots. Yep. Significantly increase shot accuracy, moderately increase ball travel speed, and moderately increase how quickly players can perform the requested shot, which is a very important piece to this too. And this was where it came into where there was controversy, because without the playstyle, here's what it looks like, and it's a lot worse than it was pre-patch, right? So if you don't have the playstyle, now you're gonna be thinking, oh my goodness, can I do a low-driven shot? Well, honestly, I can't tell if this is precision shooting or not. If we go back and look here, I don't know if this is precision or if this is standard shooting. It looks like standard shooting to me, because I think low-driven shots on standard shooting were not that good. It was more so precision where they were kind of overpowered. But yes, it could mean that the low-driven shot playstyle is kind of necessary if you want to perform low-driven shots. We don't know if that will be the case or not, but you would assume at least with standard shooting that probably is the case. And here's how the low-driven shot looks with the playstyle, and it is, I mean, it is a bullet into the back of the net there. I think that first one was with plus. They're actually, no, they just slowed it down, right? That is a bullet into the back of the net, which is a good feature in my opinion. You know, I think it's important to have as many shot types work well as can be, because I think that just helps, and it's the most realistic way to finish. I mean, honestly, it's like the most realistic way. But yes, it does kind of suck if you've been doing low-driven shots and it's like, hey, you might not actually be able to anymore. And of course, you have the worry where the low-driven shot plus is going to be insanely overpowered, like finesse plus almost, basically, except maybe even better, and no current cards in the whole game have it. So you're going to basically add in a crazy meta playstyle that EA will only give a certain select few cards to, and they might be crazy expensive, and then there's that pay-to-win chance obviously in there, because when they add shit like this, it's cool, but if they don't retroactively give it to other cards that are already in the game, then EA can really decide almost how many cards they want to be good or overpowered. If they know adding this in the game, they know it's going to be OP, right? They can decide that and plan accordingly. So that's always something to kind of worry about or think about there. Precision lob pass and clearance header update. So they talked about the passes kind of, you know, reducing in the accuracy of the fully powered precision lob passes, which was what we talked about with those weird cheesy passes. And then the clearance headers apparently have significantly increased in accuracy. So I guess that there were some complaints about headers off of corners. They were kind of just kind of going to the opponents, no power on them at the edge of the box. They'll have more accuracy apparently now. So that's kind of a small change. But then gameplay issues addressed, there's only a couple. Let's go through them. So in some specific situations, AI defenders did not press the ball carrier as intended. And I didn't see anybody talk about this, but I'm pretty certain this is actually intended to nerf high depth. And I'll kind of explain why. So this issue mainly occurred during potential offside scenarios, with the AI defender over prioritizing the offside line instead of attempting to press an offensive threat. But what I'm getting from that is that they wanted to keep their line too much. And the center backs would maybe leave a striker unmarked, right? Or the left back or right back would leave a winger unmarked to kind of keep that line. Whereas now they'll kind of break that perfect back four to go and press an attacker. So I'm thinking they're thinking that's the solution to like super high depth, because now they're going to be more all over the place. The AI defenders, that is, more all over the place, trying to manage the line and also press the front three. That's kind of what I'm reading into that. I could be wrong about that, of course, but that would make sense as to kind of help the 95 depth issue. I doubt it will actually do much, but then also the last gameplay change was sometimes incorrect goalkeeper save animations could have occurred when the keeper was trying to save tight angle near post shots. So some near post shots apparently even got a nerf as well in this update, and that is it for gameplay changes. The new icons and heroes, yes, Roma Trio's back. We saw this already, but then also Franz Beckenbauer makes his return to Ultimate Team on Friday, March 21st. His base icon will be added to the Ultimate Team pool of items for packs as part of the Dream Chasers campaign, and his first campaign version will follow on April 4th, debuting as part of the FUT Immortals promo, which I think one of my commenters yesterday called that, by the way. And we actually have his base icon card leaked, and it's right here. So Beckenbauer has long ball plus, actually 92 rated, which is very, very high for a base icon. 82 pace, 93 defending, 88 passing there as well, 81 physical, some play playstyles being Incisive Pass, Intercept, Anticipate, Technical, and Trivella. So he's probably going to be a very, very good card. Be very expensive right away because of just new eye contacts, even with the 82 pace and long ball plus. And I'm sure his FUT Immortals card is going to be very crazy. But then this one here, Super Sub player items are coming to Ultimate Team. This is actually very, I guess, interesting, maybe is the best way to put it. These player items will have full chemistry when they're subbed into matches during the second half and beyond. So people kind of already on Twitter were like, hey, if we just sub in cards right away in the 5th minute, if we end up with cards off chem as a chemistry buff, so you just sub somebody in and then they'll get full chem anyway. It's only during the second half and beyond, apparently. Additionally, following the same activation conditions, role familiarity at the role plus level will be increased to role plus plus. And they do say they need to be subbed into their primary or alternate positions for their roles to take effect, or chemistry to take effect as well. But I don't know if that means that we are going to get maybe a promo with like specific super sub players that get full chem when they get subbed in, or if it's something you can do where you can select one player in your team to become the super sub and everybody gets 1 or everybody gets 2 or something like that. I don't think we have any idea how it's going to work, but it's a pretty big fundamental change actually. There's going to be a much bigger emphasis on super subs, because if you can make them that much better, plus 8s we're talking, if you go and get a hunter, go and get a shadow. I think people tend to sleep on the effectiveness of subs already, let alone adding in chem styles now in, so that's going to be a pretty big change actually. And they added in a friendly, which is just called targets, which has little targets that you can try and shoot and hit in the corner of each goal, and it gives you extra basically goals when you score them. Hitting those targets will count as 2 goals and will permanently destroy the target that was hit. It's just some bullshit. There's some club stuff. If you want to pause the video and look through there, you can. New facilities as well. Double coin events apparently. Career mode has some UI improvements, new icons, and more. Another live start point has been added, I believe, there. And Franz Beckenbauer's positions were also leaked. He can play center, mid, and CDM, which is pretty crazy. He's kind of got Lothar Matthäus versatility in that way. And here's a new team's Classic 11 makes its return, which is pretty cool. You've got the vintage theme now in the main menu, and that is pretty much it there for the update. But obviously, what wasn't in it was very controversial too, because there's not much of gameplay changes here. You have a couple new things, but nothing in there about crazy high depth. I think there was something in there about that, but they didn't specifically say it, so people weren't happy about that. Some people did not like the low-driven shot play style. They won't be able to do that now, maybe on their cards. Also, I forgot to mention with the Roma trio, they do say here that there will be FUT birthday versions of them coming up this Friday. There's a Streets Won't Forget versions available of them coming up at Ultimate Team in Objectives and Evolutions, and then there will not be base versions of them in packs basically for all of FC25, which is kind of a weird choice, but I guess it makes sense if we're all going to get all 3 of them in like Objectives or Evolutions, that you don't really need to put them in packs. But yeah, I guess they're not going to do any base versions of the trio. Then this part right here, the super sub player items coming back, this really kind of is telling as to what they think about FC25, because I think their position right now is like, we need to add in new things immediately. They're no longer thinking of let's hold off on new features for next year's game, which you know that they've been doing for years now. They're literally adding in new features that you would expect super sub items with that get full chemistry, or say they're 1 card on your bench you can make your super sub item. That sounds like a perfect new feature for next year's game, right? And they're just adding it into this year relatively late in. It's not late in the cycle yet, but we're talking it's March, the middle of March, and if it's later past this update, maybe a week past this update, we see these, you'll be getting into the last week of March potentially, or something like that. That's a pretty late new feature into the game. I think it just shows you they're thinking about, we want to keep players on right now for this game. Like, we're thinking about the now, not the future anymore. And not anymore, I shouldn't say that, but they're thinking about the now much more than they were, is kind of my point. And this is why, even if it turns out to be kind of not even a great feature added in, like no one really cares about it or whatever may happen, it still shows you that when things are looking bad for them, we're gonna see a lot more effort, right? Just simply put, more effort into things. Adding in something new like that relatively late on into the cycle, which is just something we're not used to seeing. But okay, there's also possibilities that the card designs here were kind of weird, because EA just kind of teased 3 card designs, right? And people are assuming that it's Dream Chasers, Immortals, and then Team of the season. Except one of these card designs has to be team of the season if that was the case. And which one is team of the season from these three? None of them look like team of the season cards. So people were begging and pleading that one of these three cards actually is not the team of the season design. And it might not be. We have no idea. It could be Dream Chasers, Immortals, and then these are the super subs, right? Hard to say, but EA did just add this card design actually not that long ago. FC Pro Leagues Live was just added into the game, which of course is going to be a live card revolving around the pro scene. And here's a little Giroud concept there just to kind of show you what it looks like on a card. But yeah, it's kind of where we're at right now in terms of this new update. This is kind of my theory around gameplay changes. This could be just full of shit, just warning you right now. I just think that knowing what EA have done in the past and seeing what they're doing now, I think that because they ended up gaining players again, right? They kind of saved FC25 a little bit with that update. Pretty much since that time, there's been no real big gameplay changes, right? If I had to possibly maybe underestimate the abilities of these gameplay guys, which I'm aware I might be doing here, I'm not convinced they know what to do. I think that they just saw an update that we liked and they're just going to keep it because they're like, okay, seems like they liked it. Players came back in droves. We are just going to leave it and not touch it. I don't know if there's like a direction. I don't know if there is that sort of, okay, we're going to keep adding things in and fixing things to go here. We want the gameplay to end up here. I don't think there is that. I think there's just a, hey, we made an update. People came back. People said they liked it for a bit. Fucking don't change a thing. You know, don't change it. Don't fuck it up. And I don't want to sleep on bringing back Classic 11, by the way. There's a lot of offline players that have not been able to use certain icons for years because it's been behind a paywall. So I do want to appreciate that from EA's point of view. Even though, let's be honest, they took it away from us. We praised them for bringing it back again. What is it? Oh my God. I almost said 5 years later, like it's fucking 2022. That's 8 years later, 2017 to 2025. And also, this card design looks way different than the one we just saw added into the game. So maybe that's not the one coming in. And this is the FC Pro League's live card design, considering it was tweeted out by the official account. I don't know what's going on here, but just wanted to show you that because I don't get what we just saw. And continuing with some leaks and news here, we did see, I think a couple days ago, that we were going to get FUT Birthday Season Ladder Weak Foot and FUT Birthday Season Ladder skill moves in the season, obviously. Apparently, F Baba says it will be great without overall max. Now, I can't tell if that's broken English and him just saying, like, it will be good if there is no overall max, or if he's saying it will be great. There's no max overall. And to be honest with you, it shouldn't even be max 89. It should be max 90, max 91, or, I mean, preferably no max at all, but they won't do that. And there were some glitches going around today. 3 Playstyle Plus cards that were upgraded, some fantasy cards that were upgraded. If you put them into an Evo already, some of them kind of got weirdly 3 Playstyles. I believe what happens here is when you load the game up, I believe it's gone and it replaces it. I think it's like a web app or companion app glitch, I believe. I think it is gone when you load up the game if you see you got 3 Playstyle Pluses. And FUT Agent does say special Evos coming for promos, Team of the Season, Dream Chasers, and Immortals, which I guess isn't much of a surprise, but I think what it's showing you now is that if we get special Evos for every single promo that comes out, and we now have every Evo being paid, I think it just shows you what the future of Evos is. They're leading into them. They know we love them. People are clearly buying and spending all of them, like regardless if they're good or not, and we're just going to keep seeing paid Evos until we stop spending them. I think that's just going to be the case here. And also some of these fantasy upgrades today, we got some 99 stats now because some cards reached that point. They gave Matuidi 99 defending. So this card is probably the best DM in the game at this point. 91 pace, 99 defending, and 94 physical. Kika Nazareth here has 99 passing now, so this is a nice little link to Rolfo as well. Up to 90 rated, really nice cam actually there if you guys have tried her out. She looks honestly pretty crazy. And then we got, where is he? Right here, Kvaratskhelia, 99 dribbling. So I was curious to see what 99 stats they would do with these guys because they love to give them like 99 fucking physical, right? Some bullshit like that. Nope, they give Kvaratskhelia and Matuidi like 2 of the best ones they could have gotten. And Kika Nazareth with Incisive Plus, 99 passing is pretty damn good for her too. So they kind of actually did juice these cards out. Funnily enough, Kvaratskhelia actually crashed today post the upgrade. You always sell in the hype pre-fantasy upgrade, by the way. Any live card you always sell before they get upgraded. But yeah, once again, like pop SBC, and then the rest now. now. We're waiting for the showdown, waiting for Nick Pope and Paulo Futre to hopefully have some good play styles. Like, it's kind of crazy how lackluster this promo really has been so far, and the content. I mean, there's been some good things. By lackluster, I don't mean all terrible, of course. I just think our expectations have been high, and I don't think we've had them fulfilled yet. I do think that's safe to say, and kind of surprisingly so, all things considered. But I do want to talk about the market a little bit, because I think low-driven shots are going to be... I'm very interested to see how good these are, because when it comes out, and there will be a few cards right away with the low-driven play style, and there might be an Evo too right away, which then will change things a little bit. But my guess is if it's really, really good, it's going to be all anybody uses. And if you have an attacker right now, they're obviously already down, but that can really play with the market here, honestly, is no strikers in the game at all have the low-driven shot, right? If you're not going to retroactively add this in anywhere, then you're probably going to see attackers go down if it's really good, especially low-driven plus. Say we end up getting an Evo that gives low-driven plus and it's really, really good. I would not be shocked to see almost all attackers fall, whether they're wingers or strikers or whatever, because you're going to want to use one of those cards, and none of the market right now has them. Not a single one. Also, it's pretty funny to see that. What did they give Williams for a second playstyle plus? Because he's an SBC. Slide tackle. Yeah, slide tackle plus on him. They did give Brand, though, ping, pass, and tiki-taka, so that's kind of a nice little combo of regular playstyles to give her, but kind of funny seeing the difference between like a Matuidi who's 4 mil and then a Williams SBC. You're like, nah, slide tackle's good enough. And okay, let's read your comments now. And by the way, the horror game did win. If you want to go check the poll, I think it was like horror game just barely won. So that'll be coming out within the next week or so, I believe. And I won't do straw poll again. For some reason, people said that they had to make an account. Some said they'd make an account. Some didn't have to make an account. I don't know what was going on there. That ended up being a bad idea, apparently. But okay, Daddy does fitness. In response to people complaining that they can't or haven't changed their team since Team of the Year because no one fits, no one is forcing you to use the same squad and meta. Have some fun and stop sweating little weirdos. Try out new players, but then again, you lot probably can't win without Bale and Mbappe. And I do actually tend to agree with this take. Not even, I wouldn't say aggressively like this guy probably does, but I would say, yeah, you're probably right. You don't have to have the same squad all the time. You can change your team up all over the place. There's lots of different players. There's lots of different Evos out there to use that are all relatively around the same anyway. So like, why not just use your favorite players and teams and try different cards out here and there? And you can change your team up a lot without needing better players almost, if that makes sense. I do think it's a good idea to like get out there, like just try and have some fun. This game's about fun. Having some fun and changing your team up is kind of one of those things people forget about sometimes. It's like, hey, we're playing this for fun at the end of the day. And Live Like Chris, you know, is saying how if every player is achievable, you would think it's a good thing, but it makes all your coin grind not worth shit, in my opinion. And this one is tough for me because I'm assuming you mean every player is achievable apart from like that 0.1% where they're like 6 mil plus. You don't want your coin grind to be not worth shit, but honestly, no matter what, in this game in general, your coin grind, there's no way it's going to be not worth shit. It's going to be worth something. Having the luxury of 7 million coins, if you have that, you can have so much more fun that way if you have 7 mil compared to 1 mil. Any gamble pick you can do right away if you want to do one of them. You can do just countless things. Try different players out, all different types of stuff to just enjoy yourself. Yeah, you might not be able to go and get Team of the Year Vinny, right? With 7 mil, you need 10 mil. But honestly, you can still enjoy yourself in so many other ways with that 7 mil. And then Have a Nice Day says, maybe boomer opinion, but EA should go back to less promos so new cards actually improve your team. I miss when informs actually made it to my team and stayed for months. Then Chrome Dome Alex, you know, 2 promos every month, focus on 1 team per promo. I do think there is a better balance to be had with like overwhelming shit all the time, but I also think it's gonna be so hard. Like, it would be a huge gamble for them to go back on the every Friday promo stuff, because I just don't think they would make as much money. I think as much as we think that maybe it's a less is more approach and they would make just the same amount, I think there are gambling addicts out there that do spend every single Friday there's a new promo and they wouldn't do that as much. I think that them going back on that is probably not going to be a thing they will ever do. As much as I think it probably would be good to have a less is more approach to some things like promo teams or promo cards, I think that it's kind of a fruitless endeavor to try and hope for that, I think, at this point. And one of the most upvoted comment yesterday is like, streak or R9 haircut. Listen, I would do the R9 haircut and like make it some sort of goal, right? If I was just live stream or whatever. The problem is I have a fiance who would probably leave me. And the moment I turned on the lights inside the room and she saw my fucking just abhorrent cut, she would say, what the fuck are you doing? I got engagement pictures. I'm getting married in a year. Like, I would genuinely do the R9 cut if I didn't have, I bow down to the boss, okay? And streaking, like, I'm not trying to catch a charge, all right? I'll pass on the catching a charge part here. Even though, yes, I did say it, okay? I wasn't expecting it. I will admit, technically speaking, I am going back on my word. Yes, I am. But I'm going to try and make up for it in any way I can. And what we're doing now, we can hopefully make some content out of, so that'll be kind of fun. But yeah, hey, I think that's all for me. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate every single one of you. Love you all. See you in this video. Peace.